Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan Calixto, and today is Tuesday, March 18th. You are now watching Open, a program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. Don't forget to stay connected with us via social media at BronxNet TV. Now, A Fair Shake for Youth, a nonprofit that runs a curriculum-based, instructor-led therapy dog program in New York City public schools, has announced the launch of a volunteer recruitment campaign to help meet the demand for programming that builds young people's social and emotional skills. Joining me now is the founder and executive director of A Fair Shake for Youth, Audrey Hendler. Hi, Audrey. How's it going?
Good, thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today and speaking about this program that's very important and has been around for over 15 years. To give our viewers a clearer look at the campaign, at the program that you do as well, tell me a little bit about what inspired the organization.
Um, One of my favorite stories. I did marketing for most of my career, but I was a volunteer for Puppies Behind Bars, which is a prison dog program where inmates are raising puppies that are going to be guide dogs or bomb sniffing dogs or service dogs. And I saw what an amazing impact the dogs had on the social emotional skills of the inmates, even though no one was really calling them social and emotional skills at the time. um, the inmates were trusted. Somebody was more important than themselves. They learned to work together. Um, and they really flourished under the program. And I watched, and you had to be an honors inmate to be in this program. And I watched as this one young woman, probably in her 30s, interviewed for the program and came up the ranks and got a dog. But she was, she didn't have a lot of self confidence, sort of like the Wizard of Oz. She was Dorothy the Small and Meek. But then about a year later, she had raised her dog, and I came in to go over a test first thing in the morning. We would go to the prison one day a week, and she started arguing with me for 1 point on a test on the first question. And at first I thought, wow, that's crazy, it's only 1 point. And then I thought, wow, she is sure that she's right. She's willing to stand up for herself, and she's willing to do it in front of a group of other women. And I kind of had this epiphany of why are we waiting until kids are grown up and potentially in trouble to bring these same skills I watched the dogs bring to her
Yeah,
and to the other people in prison. And so
yeah.
I thought,
And you
let me
launched,
let me try
obviously,
this.
definitely. And I mean, I want to make sure we get to obviously the work that you're doing, Audrey. But when you talk about even you seeing this young woman and inspiring now this 15-year legacy that you've created with A Fair Shake for Youth, over the course of these 15 years, you've served close to 4,000 students, and it's been with a partnership over 70 public schools, organizations in New York City. Talk to me about, these middle school students that you do serve. What are the struggles that they're facing, and how does this therapy dog program come into play?
Okay, sure. What I want to say though is our first program was with an alternative detention program for teens that were involved in the juvenile justice system. But we saw really clearly right away that the opportunity was much broader than that. And so we decided to go into schools, and particularly to go into schools in lower income areas where kids faced more challenges and had fewer opportunities. So we actually spent about 18 months trying different age groups. We worked in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, but we decided that our sweet spot, really where we could have the greatest impact, was in middle school, where kids, in the best of circumstances, are going through a really difficult transition to being a teenager, to being an adult, their hormones, who are they, who do they want to be, who can they be. And for the kids that we serve, they're all Title I schools. They face more challenges. They often live in crowded housing. They may live in a single family home. There may be food insufficiency. There aren't enough adults in their life. They certainly got hit the hardest with COVID and the aftermath of COVID and the isolation. So they face a lot of challenges. But they're just kids. Wherever we go, the thing that we see over and over again are they are just kids who want to be recognized, who want to be loved, who want to do well, who want to do good.
Yeah, when you talk about what they're obviously that need that they also have of wanting to be loved, cared, how does the therapy dog program come into play and what is that interaction like with them?
Well, we're a social emotional learning program. Some programs use art, some use music. We use dogs, and we use therapy dogs because they're safe. They're the same dogs that you hear about going into hospitals or nursing homes. They're highly, highly social, which means they like strangers. And I like to say they like strangers out of home. So for the kids who maybe don't feel enough love, or they're shut down, or they are shy and they're not good at interacting even with their classmates, the dog comes in. The dog doesn't care about any of that. They're like, bring it on. I love these kids. And that makes kids feel good about themselves. So they're highly social. They're non-judgmental. So they don't care what sneakers you're wearing, or if you had enough for breakfast, or if there's something really challenging going on at home. They're just there for you, and they're honest. They live in the moment, which is an inspiration to all of us, but they just live
Yeah.
in the moment. And yes, we have a curriculum, but there are a million teachable moments. It's not, I mean, that's why we use dogs, but it's not about the dogs. It's really about what the dogs can teach us. And that's why I say to the kids, why are we here? And I say, like, I just thought of it for the first time. Well, I think that by learning about dogs, we can learn a lot about ourselves. And I'm like, does anybody buy what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, I'll ask you again at the end.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean, yeah.
the dogs make it safe. The kids love the dogs. The dogs make it safe for the kids to let their guard down and just explore who they are and who they want to be. And they're much more willing to work with a classmate who maybe they don't know, they think they don't like, if it's about making the dog successful. And in the process, they realize, hey, this kid's really okay.
Yeah, and I think with what you're mentioning as well about them even interacting with other students, opening up, them from being shy, I was seeing this research that shows that about 20 minutes even with a therapy dog can dramatically reduce stress hormone levels in young people. So it's beautiful to even see how that incorporates into these students. I know I want to be sure that we get to this recruitment campaign that you're also doing. Talk to me about this effort to expand your volunteer network and the cities that you are currently in right now.
Okay. About half our programs are in the Bronx because it's such an area of need. We have programs in Upper Manhattan, Lower Manhattan. We have some programs in Brooklyn, but we have three therapy dog teams and an instructor for each of our programs, and we follow a curriculum. So we have three dogs because that allows us to have about four kids per dog. There's 12 kids in each program and three therapy dog teams. So the ratio is 4 to 1. And that's really important because part of what we do is show the kids how dogs are different, how they're the same, how their expectations of a dog might be different. They think they're afraid of the big dog, but he turns out to be the biggest mush. So we are therapy dog heavy. So we need a lot of teams. So if we need 3 teams per school, that's a lot. So we have almost 30 volunteers now. We
Wow.
had 40 before COVID, but our goal is to double the number of teams in the next 18 months, which basically means we can double the number of schools. There is certainly no shortage of need for this program. In fact, the need, unfortunately, is only becoming greater and greater. So we are looking for dogs that are highly social, resilient, good in new situations. It can basically follow commands and put it this way, can behave when called upon. They are dogs. One of mine has captured many a squirrel. But so, and people who have time during the day because our programs are in school.
Yeah.
Um,
with what you're mentioning as well, obviously with what you're looking for, I know that as part of the therapy dog teams, you also offer these guidance for those people who are interested in being handlers. Talk to me about how people can go about getting their dogs certified and joining, obviously, your effort.
There are two major organizations in New York. There's Pet Partners, which is a national organization, and then there's a Good Dog Foundation, which is regional. They both are organizations with which you can get your dog certified or registered, but you can always reach out to us, and we will, help you figure out whether your dog might be appropriate, what the best process might be for you, which organization, and you can always reach us at volunteer@afsy.org, and we will help people.
Yeah, now of course, when we hear about the programs that you have, these efforts, not just on, the students who are receiving this, but also the volunteer side, what do you hope is the biggest takeaway for our viewers and people who participate in these programs?
I think that for the volunteers and for the kid, well, for the volunteers, it's people love their dogs, as you probably know, and people who have their dogs become therapy dogs are excited about the power that their dogs have to help other people. And for our volunteers who go into school and help kids who need to feel good about themselves, to feel that they are loved, to feel like they have something to offer themselves and each other, and to watch the kids change over the 10 weeks, it's highly rewarding and highly satisfying. We have a great group of volunteers, and they really love what we do. For the kids, they learn about themselves, they learn what they can do, they form a relationship with another species, which is very empowering. And quite honestly, it has an effect on the whole school. When we come in, the kids are like, "Dog, dog." We have a dean who, like, interrupts every class at one school because she loves golden retrievers, and she must be with the golden retriever. So,
Oh.
it's for the 12 kids, but it helps the whole school. It's a win-win, especially these days. It's makes people feel good about what they do and about who they can be.
Yeah, well, with that, Audrey, thank you so much for sharing, obviously, in this quick segment. But, the impact that you've created over the last 15 years, and we hope to continue to see what you do for the next 15 years. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been great to be here.
And for our viewers, if you or someone you know would like to step up to the call and help volunteer, please visit their website, afairshakeforyouth.org. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Open after this.